So to start off, just give us a real easy understanding of how this tax works.
Well, let's start with capital gains tax. It basically is taxed on investment, and usually it's long-term investment. And if you think about what taxes do, taxes tend to act like a punishment. They disincentivize behavior. So actually, I think that it's a really bad idea. And regardless of the rate of the capital gains tax, to try to tax something that's unrealized is actually kind of ridiculous. And the reason why I say that is because, first of all, who's going to value the asset? All right. So valuation, the whole reason why people like me have a job is because there's a difference between price, which is absolute, and value, which is very relative. And so who is going to decide the valuations? I mean, right now, they think that the Mar-a-Lago is worth less than $16 million. So I think it's a little bit ludicrous.
Yeah, okay, I want to comment on that as well. But first, maybe you can answer this. It's only going to target people with over $100 million in assets or worth. So, I mean, is this such a big deal?
It's a huge deal because if you think about it, most of the time, your boss is not poorer than you. And so let's keep in mind that this is going to basically it's going to cause a fire sale. It's going to cause a depression. It's going to cause more than a recession. I think it has zero chance of going through because there are some people, especially the donors in the Democratic Party, that actually do know how to do math. And so I think it's unworkable, regardless of what level you put it on. Because think about it. So where are they going to get that money from? Wealthy people don't have that money sitting in cash. That's ludicrous. Most currency is digital already. All Bitcoin did is create the blockchain, which I think is genius. But look, most money is already digital. The cash, the coins that we think of as money, that's 3% of the total money supply. Total money supply has gone up by like 40, 50%. So the real problem is inflation. And the real problem that consumers are having is affording everything, right? Especially the cost of shelter, food, energy, so on and so forth. So I think that this is dead on arrival.
So what do you say to the advocates of this tax who argue that these wealthy people, I mean, they're avoiding taxes, so putting this tax on them will sort of level the playing field because you know how the situation is with wealthy people. They pay very little tax.
Well, there are more than one type of tax, okay? Because there's not just a capital gains tax, there's an income tax, there's a sales tax, there's a payroll tax. There is a lot of tax. And I'm lucky enough or wise enough to live in a state that has no state income tax. But the problem isn't the tax. Wealthy people are wealthy because they are providing valuable services to society, okay? The beauty of the free market system is someone like my father who came to this country at age 19 with nothing except hard work, determination, and energy, right? And now he has created so many hundreds of jobs. He's paid millions of dollars in taxes. My sister is an attorney. I'm doing pretty good. And, this is just the beginning. And there's millions of people like that. So the problem is the government is spending too much money. If it was easy to legislate wealth, then we would have already done it. This is a terrible idea, I must say.
Okay, final question here, and we have about 30 seconds. Is it not true that hedge funds charge performance fees? I mean, and they don't refund them, right? If the value of the portfolio falls the following year, is this not similar to a tax on unrealized gains?
Well, first of all, hedge funds, there's so many different ones with so many different fees. And you are correct that most of the time they do not refund performance fees, just like we don't get a refund when our government makes a mistake. I think that there's 40 billion unaccounted for with Ukraine. I think the Pentagon hasn't submitted their financials in quite some time. I think that the fraud in Medicare, Social Security, which is off balance sheet liabilities. So that's on top of the $35 trillion that we already owe. So listen, we can point fingers at anybody, but the government is supposed to work for us. So the one thing we all have in common, if we don't already work for the government, is that we need to hold them accountable.
All right, Vijay, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you as always.